So it's youth night, right? Cool. Cool. So we're gonna do youth tonight. Stay serious. Guess what? As of right now, you guys are gonna be down there, but by the end of the night, you're gonna be up here next to me. So, it's youth night. Yeah, youth has fun. But it's not just about fun. We still do the word. We still learn. We still teach. Lately, whenever we go back to youth, we've been doing it a little different. I like people to get involved. I know I'm pretty boring. I don't want nobody falling asleep on me. So I want them to get involved. So what do? We have a little Bible trivia before we get going. Do a little icebreaker. Get everybody involved, engaged, so that whenever it comes time to go into the Word, and I'm looking for response, or looking for answers, looking for feedback, they've already started. So we're going to do the same thing, just like we always do, okay? Colin, I'm sorry, but Uncle Mike put you in there, and he's like, Pastor Mike's like, Colin, you're coming up here too. You got to sit up here with the youth. Zach, I didn't know nothing about it. So guess what? You doing Bible trivia too. So we just do a couple questions. And listen, when we do Bible trivia, it's not about trying to find out what somebody knows or what somebody don't know. Because we're not using this to judge somebody. Okay? So if somebody don't know an answer, let's not judge. These guys are young. I've been in church twice as long as some of these people. And when I was their age, I didn't know nothing about the Bible. This is about if they don't have something right or they don't know exactly, this gives them a pinpoint to go back and say, why did I get this wrong? I can look this up. Now, we are moving forward and we're trying to figure out why we got it wrong, but we're getting the answer. So now we know, okay? So it's not about getting the question right, getting it wrong. It's about following up. And if we do get it right, learn more about the story that we got right. Okay? So Haley, you never sit there. Never. That's always Allie. Allie always sits on the left. But you guys got me all switched up today. See, they got me a mess. Haley, first question. How many days was Jesus in the tomb? Yes.
3.
Yes, 3. So, Jesus was, I can't say it. Okay, so Jesus died on Friday. That's why we celebrate Good Friday. And he rose on Easter Sunday, which was 3 days later. That's why we celebrate those 2 days. So yes, 3 days. Owen, what are the first 4 books of the New Testament known as?
The gospel.
The Gospels. That's awesome. Stephen, who built the ark? No. Awesome. Al, you ready? Why did Adam and Eve get expelled from the Garden of Eden?
Because they ate the apple of knowledge.
Wow, that's awesome. You're right. They ate the forbidden fruit. That's awesome. In children's church, it's taught the apple. In youth, it'll be taught as a forbidden fruit. It's just easier to learn as the apple. Now, how did Jesus die? What did they do to him?
It was him and 2 or 3 other people. He had a crown of like thorns on his head, and then he carried the crosses up to like a mountain hill.
Right.
He was nails and hammered into his hands and feet.
Yep. He had the crown of thorns. He had the piercings, the whips. Crucified. Crucified. What's that? Trick question. Listen to yours. What did Jesus turn into? Wine.
This is supposed to be a trick question? That's,
No, it's not a trick question.
okay, water.
Water. Yes, he turned the water into wine. Haley. True or false? Jonah was swallowed by a whale.
Often big fish.
That's good. Yes, that's false. He was not swallowed by a whale. That's another one that's taught in children's church because it's easier for a child to understand that a whale is a big fish. But in the Bible, it actually says he was swallowed and was in the belly of a big fish. So it says big fish, so yes, it's false. Owen. How many commandments are there? 10. Can any of you, this ain't part of it, this is a bonus. Can any of you name one? Stephen. Good. Owen.
Thou shalt not steal.
Alec.
That they shall honor their mother and father.
Very good. And that's the only one of the commandments that has a promise. It says, honor their mother and father, and you shall have a long life. That's the only one of the commandments that has a promise with it. Stephen, what is the name of the book that tells the story of Daniel and the lion's den? Daniel. Alf. How many disciples did Jesus have? Well, good job. That was quick, man. She's like, bam. Damn. I don't know which ones I did and which ones I didn't. I think that's all of them. That is all of them. I only had 10. Pastor Mike throw a wrench on me. But that's all. That's all the trivia I have. So, now we'll get into the message. Just a little bit. Now that everybody's got to talking a little bit, I'm not worried about nothing right away, but I will need you guys to join in again a little bit with me when we get to a little later and answer for me, okay? So the topic of my message tonight is know your worth. Often we make mistakes of finding our worth without realizing that in our blindness, we have seen only a tiny part of the big picture. For example, a guy plays a sport really well. So he finds his worth, his self-worth, that he's an athlete. A girl. She's a very nice looking girl. Therefore, she finds her worth in her external appearance. I'm going to step outside the box for a minute. We had a yard sale. And a guy pulls up in this nice 1954 Ford pickup truck. Looked good. Sounded good. But that's finding worth in material things. The definition of worth. The value equivalent to that of someone or something under consideration. The level of which someone or something deserves to be valued or rated. James 2:4. Suppose a man comes into your meeting, wearing a gold ring, fine clothes, and a poor man in filthy old clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and saying, here's a seat, here's a good seat for you, but you say to the poor man, you stand here, or you can sit right here by my feet on the floor. Special attention. That's kind of why I wore this outfit. I know it's kind of goofy, but kind of the reason I wore it. I got a hat on. Old timers. Do not think people should wear hats in church. Why? Because they didn't do it back in the day. You go to the country church, and every one of them's got a hat on, and it's folded in half. The bill is folded in half. They put it in their back pockets, and they sit on it while they're in church. It was just what they did back then. But are you willing to tell somebody they can't come to the church because they got a hat on? He's a youth, never been to church. He's 40 years old, never been to church. And you're gonna tell him that he can't come in because he's got a hat on? Maybe we need to check ourselves. You're gonna show favoritism because this man's got a nice 3-piece suit on? And this guy comes in dressed like this? This man that comes in with his 3-piece suit on might not be his best. But the man that comes in dressed like this might have his Sunday best on. That might be all he has. Are we going to judge the outside appearance of a man? We can't show favoritism. Why can't we show favoritism? Favoritism is wrong. Why do you say it's wrong? 2 reasons. 2 reasons favoritism is wrong. Number 1, it's inconsistent with God's nature. If we show favoritism to the man that has a nice suit on over the man that's not dressed as well, we are setting ourselves up for failure. If you go on a little farther, in verse 9, sorry. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as lawbreakers. So if you show favoritism because this man's dressed nice and this one's not, and you treat them different because of the way they're dressed, you're showing favoritism. And guess what? You sin. I didn't say that. Bible does. It says it right here. If you show favoritism, you sin. You say, well, what's that mean with God's nature? God doesn't love no one more than he loves any other. He loves every single person the same. Nothing you can do, nothing you have done can make God love you more or love you less. Nothing that you will ever do will make God love you more or love you less. He loves each and every one of you the exact same. Number 2, it's inconsiderate to others. We don't determine someone's worth by their status in society, their wealth, their income, what they have, what they don't have. That's their status of society, what they have. If you show favoritism because of what somebody has or what somebody doesn't have, it's saying that you're putting more value into material things than you're putting in your God. It's hurtful to the one that has less. It's dismissive to the one. But it also shows how selfish we can be as human beings. Why do you say that? This is to the church, not to the young people. But hear what I have to say. They can do me favors. He's got this. And it happens in the church. He has this. He can do this for the church. He can also do this for the pastor. He can do this because he has it. So we have to take the status of society out. We cannot look at the material things that one has. You guys are getting ready to go back to school. Somebody's a good ball player, just saying. I just read about it. Somebody's not, but you're on the same team. You can't look down on that person because they're not as good. You know what your job is? As their teammate? To help that person get better, to push them along, not to cut them down, to help guide them on that sports field, just like it's our job to help guide you in this church, to help push you along in your walk, so your guys' walk can get better, so it'll get, I almost messed up, because it ain't. I almost said easier. It's never gonna get easier, never, because once you get over a hurdle, there's another one right there. I don't know if you guys watch the Olympics at all, but they had the 100-yard hurdles. Guess what? It's jump, 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 till you get to the finish line. That's what the walk is. That's what your Christian walk is going to be like. It's going to be jump, jump, jump. And you're going to be like, I don't feel like jumping no more. Well, good, you're going to get ready to fall down this great big hill in a valley. And then you're going to get back to the mountaintop. It's not going to be easier. I should have never even thought that word, because it's not. But I'll say better. I'm just using this to lead into. I only have like 14 points, and that was the first one. We won't be here long, though, I promise. First Peter 3 and 4. Your beauty should not come from the outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles, the wearing of fine jewelry, gold jewelry, fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. This is where I was trying to go with the whole thing. Outward adornment. That's jewelry, fashion, makeup. Guess what else it is? Nothing that nobody can see. But it's probably just about as important as all of it. If not more important than all of that. Your behavior. These things change over time. Your looks, your fashion. You might be wearing gold today, and next year you're like, I think I like silver. Guess what? Your fashion just changed. Fran, you probably remember bell bottoms. Bell bottoms was a thing. When I was growing up, bell bottoms was way out. But guess what? Bell bottoms have started coming back a little bit. So that part of fashion changes. your looks. As we get older, not everybody, but most, start looking older. Might get a little bit wrinkly. Whatever it would be. Unfading beauty. Unfading beauty never changes. Not only that, unfading beauty is just the opposite of beauty looks. It gets better with age. So back to how I started with the athlete and the girl in the car. What's wrong with finding your worth in things you can do on your own, like being an athlete, looking pretty, or having this nice vehicle? Eventually, this athlete is going to get older, and he's not going to be the athlete that he once was. Whatever his sport was, rather he was a runner, rather he was a ball player, rather he was a football player, rather he was a soccer player, he's not going to be able to kick as hard as he used to. He's not going to be able to throw a football like he used to. He's not going to be able to run the ball like he used to if he plays football. He's not going to be the athlete that he once was. I just went over the looks part. As we get older, you might not be what you were when you were 15 or 16, 18, 20. And what about this old car, 1952 Ford pickup truck? It looks good, sounds really good. What if he puts that thing in the ditch? What's it worth now? What's the value of that truck? Not much when it's wrecked, right? Don't put your worth on external appearance, material things. Be more like God and get that inner self, unfading beauty. And you might be like, what's that got to do with worth? This is where I'm going. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen people, royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. First thing I want to look at here is you're chosen. Just had the baseball draft not long ago. We have a football draft. And you have your number one pick overall. That's awesome, right? Guess what? We have sandlot football games. We have pickup basketball games. It's not on a professional level, it's right here. We have wiffle ball tournaments, and we pick the teams. And when you've been picked, how cool is that? That's cool when you get picked, right? When you made the team, that's cool. How cool is it to be chosen by God. You're God's chosen. Chosen by God. Not just a pick for a team, but a pick for eternity. But if you want to look at it as a pick on a team, what a team to be on. Why do you say that? The team's never lost. Never. Undefeated. Never will lose. You may feel like you've lost, but you haven't lost. Until that final answer's been given, you haven't lost. What an awesome team to be on. God's team. To be chosen. To be picked by God. But you're not just chosen by God. You're God's special possession. Just like that guy that was at the yard sale yesterday, had that truck. I can tell you right now, that was a special possession. What's a special possession? Something extremely valuable or cherished by the owner. So you were chosen by God. You were also God's special possession. He thinks you're valuable. He thinks you're extremely valuable. He thinks you're so valuable that he cherishes you. This ain't even in my notes. This is free. But you're a royal priesthood. You know what that means? I don't know if any of you guys know. I ain't too familiar with it myself because I don't understand. I don't understand. We have a government in the United States. But overseas, they have princes that run their nations. What are they? They're royalty. You are God's royalty. You are royal. Royalty to God. That's how God feels about each and every one of you. You guys are royalty. I'm not making it up. It says it right here. I just read it to you. You guys are royalty. You're his special possession. He picked you. Just because someone doesn't look like you, doesn't think like you, doesn't think like you think they should, or they don't have what you think they should have, or they don't have what you have, they're not less than you. And good for you if you have it all together. Because I'm just telling you, I do not. I don't have everything together. I don't have my life together. I'm far from having my life together. But if you have your life together, good for you. But if you do, that doesn't make you no better than anybody else that don't. God loves you the same as he loves the other one. Make sure you don't see yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. Make sure you see yourself through the eyes of God. when I say that, we ask ourselves, who am I? That's a big question that's out, who am I? And I'm not talking about the identity stuff at all. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying, who am I? Let's stop asking the question, who am I? And let's start asking the question, whose am I? And then maybe we'll get a better understanding of how valuable we are. Whose am I? Instead of who am I? So I see a little illustration that I want to use. I have a $10 bill in my hand. What's this $10 bill worth? $10. I just folded this $10 bill. Now it's worth $5, right? It's folded. It's only worth $5, right? Huh? What do you mean? I folded it in half. Right? It's still worth 10? Really? What if I spin on it? Now what's it worth? It's gotta be worse than that. Can't be no good no more. Now it's probably $2.50, right? Still 10. Why? What do you mean? It can't be worth 10. What if I curl it up? What if I throw it on the ground? I stomp on it. Stephen, stomp on it. Now what's it worth? Can't be worth 10. It's been stomped on. Right? It's not worth $10 no more. Now it's ready to go in the trash. That's wadded up piece of paper. Right? Can't be worth $10 no more. What's that worth? What's that worth? $10. Why? Why is it worth $10? It's been stomped on. It's been spit on. It's been wadded up. Why is it worth $10? Because it ain't lost its value. Some of you, and maybe you guys, when you get ready to go back to school, will feel like you've been stomped on. You feel like you've been spit on. You feel like you've been stomped on. You feel like you're getting ready to get thrown in the trash. You've been folded up. You feel like you're losing. But I'm here to tell you right now, you ain't lost your value. You may have lost that external value, like that car, but you ain't lost your true self-worth value. Nobody can take your self-worth value away from you. Just because you've been beat up, you've been stomped on, you feel like you're losing the fight, you're still worth the same before you felt like that. No matter what you've been doing, no matter what you've done, no matter how good you are, you still have value. No matter what you've done, no matter how much you've been through, no matter how bad it's been, you still have your self-worth and your self-value. Your self-value, God, cannot be taken away. It's not something that can be taken. Your value. Your looks can be taken away. Your cars can be taken away. Your houses can be taken away. Your bicycle can be taken away. But your worth cannot be taken from you. So anytime that you have to question, what am I worth? Remember this. John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Oh my goodness. His only son. That whosoever believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. He did that for you. He did that for me. He did that for each and every one of us. That's how much he loved us. That's how much he cherished us. That's how much he values us. That he was willing to send his son, that we could spend eternity with him. Crucified. Do you know how painful that crucifixion was? What he had to go through? And his dad let him do that for us. Because he feels that he cherishes us that much. He values us that much. So never forget your self-worth and value. No matter what people say, no matter what people do to you, never forget your self-worth. So this is what we do. That's all I have. That's all I have. This is how we close in youth. Just so you know, it's a little different. Yeah, we'll figure we're going to keep it. So you may be sitting here and you need to rededicate your life to God. Or never even giving your heart to God. Maybe it's your first time ever giving your heart to God. You might be sitting here and you just don't see yourself like God sees you. You've been through some stuff. You're like that $10 bill. Been stomped on. Been beat up. Been spit on. You don't see yourself valuable. Maybe you've just been battling, but you feel like you're losing or getting ready to lose. You're feeling beat down. Or maybe you just need something else. You're needing a healing or you're needing prayer for anything else. Please come to these altars. These altars are open. We'll pray with you if you need any of these. Or if you just need something totally different. Come on down. We'll pray with you. Can you hear that okay? You thought you used to die for it. So he sacrificed his life. He thought I was worth saving. He thought he was worth keeping. He's got you. When it don't feel right. When it ain't going your way. He's got you. He thought he was worth dying for. He thought he was worth keeping. So he came up inside. Adults, that goes for you as well. If you need anything, please come.